There are over 250,000 stray cats living rough in the cities and towns of the United Kingdom, and it's believed there may be another 150,000 living rough in the rural locations of the United Kingdom. So why do we have nearly 400,000 homeless cats in the UK? In this video, I'm going to answer that question, but I'm also going to give you the top 5 reasons why your cat may abandon its home, and I'm going to tell you where it's likely to go. I will also provide you with advice on how you prevent your cat from joining this army of homeless cats. And at the end of the video, I will also be explaining why elderly cats do not abandon their home. I repeat, do not abandon their home and go off to die. This video is packed full of rich information for cat owners. I'm Colin Butcher, the Pet Detective, and welcome back to Pet Detective TV. Before we look at the 5 reasons why cats abandon their homes, it's probably a good idea to define what a stray cat actually is. Now, it's generally accepted that a stray cat is a cat that's previously been owned, has been socialised, but is currently homeless. And the stray cat population is comprised of 3 subgroups: cats that are lost, cats that have been abandoned by their owners, and cats that have abandoned their homes. And stray cats should not be confused with feral cats. These are cats that have never been owned, nor have they been socialised. And feral cats are usually defensive towards or afraid of people. The primary reason that cats abandon their homes is due to changes made to the cat's home environment. These scales provide a visual representation of how sudden or significant change can force a cat's anxiety levels upwards, and all cats have a ceiling to just how much anxiety they can cope with. And when it's reached, there's a very real risk the cat will abandon its home. To understand why cats behave this way, we need to have a quick peek at their ancestor. All domestic cats share a common ancestor, which is the African wildcat. And these wildcats are solitary creatures, and they establish and aggressively defend territories of at least 5 square miles. And it is the territory that provides the wildcat with a sense of security, for it gives them shelter, food, water, and a safe place to raise their young. And our domestic cats have inherited all of these behavioural traits. However, unlike their ancestor, domestic cats are forced to live in much smaller territories. And this means that when changes are made to those smaller territories, they have a much more immediate and profound impact on the cat's sense of security. And the more insecure a cat becomes, the greater the likelihood it will abandon its home. Now let's look at the top 5 causes of why cats abandon their homes. The first is owner absence. And this isn't when someone is going to work or socialising, but owner absence that takes place for more than a few days, typically when somebody goes away on holiday. All cat owners know that their cats are always watching what's going on in the home environment. They always have an eye slightly open or an ear turned in the direction of their owner. And this is because cats see the human family as part of the home environment. And they know your routines intimately, because your routines create rhythms. And these rhythms enhance your cat's sense of security. Cat owners often comment that they believe their cats know that they're going away on holiday, and that their cats start to misbehave, becoming more vocal, increasing their level of grooming, or walking across surfaces that are normally off limits. Your cat is not misbehaving. Instead, it's simply responding to your behaviour. The last-minute arrangements for a holiday can be a very stressful experience, and your cat is watching, and your increased anxiety is starting to make your cat feel very insecure. The second cause for cats abandoning their homes is the introduction of a stranger to the home environment. This does not include casual visitors, but instead refers to someone who remains in the home for 2 days or more. It is always worth remembering that the introduction of another living being to the cat's already crowded environment will always have a negative impact on the cat's sense of security. This is because all cats are born wary, and it's how the species has managed to survive for over 2 million years. But some cats are more wary than others. And for the domestic cat, this comes down to how they were socialized as kittens between the age of 2 and 7 weeks. And a poorly socialized kitten is most likely to grow into a more fearful adult. And the current trend amongst cat owners of using cat sitters in preference to catteries is only exacerbating the problem. And for some cats of a more nervous disposition, a combination of their owner's absence and a stranger moving in is simply too much to cope with, and they abandon their homes. Take a look at this scale. We call it the anxiety scale. At the very top end you have the more skittish of cats, and at the lower end the more Maine Coon style of cat. Where does your cat sit on this scale? The third cause of cats abandoning their homes is the introduction of a second cat to the home environment. Cat owners often take this course of action in the belief that their first cat needs company, and quite often select a more confident outgoing cat in the belief that this will help the first cat overcome its shyness. It won't. As previously mentioned, a poorly socialized kitten is most likely to grow into a more fearful adult. Consequently, the sudden appearance of a new cat within the existing cat's home will always be perceived as an invasion of territory, and more likely than not will lead to conflict between the two cats. It's always a good idea to seek expert advice before introducing a second cat to your home environment. Otherwise, you run the very real risk that one of the two cats will abandon your home. The fourth cause of cats abandoning their homes is significant structural change. And with this cause, the recommendation comes up front, which is, before starting a long-term building project, you would do well to find temporary accommodation for your cat. If you're not able to do this, then find a safe haven within your home where your cat can be placed during the day away from the chaos that the building project will create. It's important to remember that as your home is pulled apart, the cat's home is also pulled apart, and with it, all of its security. There are two aggravating factors to structural change. The first is your stress levels will go through the roof. And we've already discussed how your anxiety becomes your cat's anxiety. And the second, building projects will lead to the introduction of numerous strangers into your cat's environment. And once again, we've discussed how strangers impact on a cat's sense of security. When these three causes are combined, it often leads to what we call a hard migration, where the cat abandons its home with absolutely no intention whatsoever of returning. The fifth reason that cats abandon their home is to do with cat's health. Quite often when a cat is feeling unwell, it will leave the family home and go off somewhere nearby until it recovers. And this is because cats can't conceptualize. They don't understand that their illness is internal. Instead, they associate it with the home and try and migrate away from how they feel. And this cause is often accidentally aggravated by the cat's owner. Upon seeing their cat is under the weather, many owners will call the vet and arrange an appointment. This is likely to lead to the cat carrier suddenly appearing in the home. And very few cats associate a cat carrier with a positive experience. If your cat is looking unwell, then one of the first things that you should do is keep it within your home. Secondly, keep the cat carrier out of sight until it's actually needed. This brings me on to the final point, the behavior of elderly cats. There is this urban myth that older cats go off to die. They do not. Elderly cats are like elderly people. They're prone to the occasional fall, but with cats, it's a sensory fall. As a cat gets older, its sense of smell, sense of hearing, and sight all start to fade away very rapidly. Elderly cats are easily confused. Because they don't have the same sense of smell that they used to have, even a trip to a neighbouring garden can leave a cat very disorientated. And when a cat becomes confused, it will feel vulnerable. And a vulnerable cat will go to ground and will not draw attention to itself. So if your elderly cat wanders off, always remember it is not going off to die. It's simply hiding out somewhere, usually very close by. You just have to be thorough and keep looking for the cat. So here's a quick recap on those top 5 causes of why cats abandon their homes. Cause 1, owner absence. When cats abandon their home due to owner absence, they are normally hiding within their territory. Cause 2, the introduction of a stranger to the home. The behaviour of your cat is determined by how long the stranger stays within your home. The longer the stranger stays, the greater risk of a hard migration. The cat will leave its territory. So you need to engage with the local community to find your cat. Cause 3, the introduction of a second cat. When a cat abandons its home because of a second cat, it's unlikely to come back. It's a hard migration. So you need to look much further afield and engaging with the wider community. Cause 4, significant structural change. If a cat abandons its home because of a major building project, this is always going to be a hard migration. The cat isn't coming back because all its sense of security has been lost. A cat's likely to travel several miles. You must cast your search net over a much wider area. Cause 5, health. If a cat abandons its home because it's not feeling well, it will normally hide within its territory. All you need to do is to work out where your cat's territory is and search it thoroughly. And finally, the answer to the big question, why do we have so many stray cats in the United Kingdom? Well, it's down to 2 things. Firstly, too many owners are putting off neutering their cats, so if the cats go missing, they breed with the existing stray cat population and the numbers increase. Secondly, cat owners don't understand why cats abandon their home, where they go, and what they need to do to locate and recover their cats. So we have created a comprehensive playlist telling owners exactly what they need to do when their cat first goes missing. There's a link to that playlist in the comments below, and it's also on this YouTube site, Pet Detective TV. That's it from me, folks. Hope you enjoyed the video. Feel free to comment. We'd love to hear what you've got to say, and we'll see you soon. You take care, and bye-bye.